James Walker is our ESPN Dolphins reporter, joins us now on SportsCenter. James, your thoughts on now the NFLPA getting involved? We learned this tonight. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's definitely not good news for the Miami Dolphins, mostly because this now takes it out of their hands and they can't just handle the situation in-house. And the Dolphins, for the Dolphins, that would be their preference. They would rather handle this internally, as they said, you know, like a team, like a family. But now you have the NFLPA involved. You have their lawyers involved. I'm sure this has caught the NFL as a league, their attention on the Dolphins. So it's not necessarily in their hands anymore. They're doing an investigation. They're looking into the situation to find out exactly what happened, and they want answers. The NFLPA wants answers, and I'm sure the NFL wants answers. So, you know, there could be discipline. There could be certain things that comes from that, and it won't necessarily be all 100% in the Dolphins' hands.
Yeah, James, we've been following this story all week, and then we get the news tonight that there are attorneys involved, and now there's an investigation. What could come of this now? Help people understand what could come of this now that there's an investigation.
Well, as I mentioned, you know, it's not something that the Dolphins can necessarily, you know, sweep under the rug and say, okay, we're just going to handle this amongst ourselves. You know, the fines could be levied. You know, it could be, you know, potential suspensions. It really depends once the investigation is complete and once all the details come out as far as what happened and how Jonathan Martin was treated within the locker room. You know, once that comes out, you know, completely, once the investigation is full, then they can, you know, then the league and the NFLPA, you know, can sort of figure out where to go forward. But what's interesting about this case is it's sort of unprecedented, and it's not, you know, it's not unprecedented in terms of, you know, pranks or you know, things that happen. This stuff happens sometimes in training camp. But the fact that it got to the point where a player was so upset and so distraught that he decided to leave the team. And this is a guy that's a second-year player. He's a starter. He's a contributor to the team. He's a player that the Dolphins actually needed, you know, on the field. So I think this story has a lot of interesting layers, and it's really now the NFLPA is getting involved and the lawyers are getting involved. It's just beginning. And
James, I'm glad you pointed that out, because I think a lot of us understand that there's hazing that goes on for fun with rookies in training camp. It's a locker room environment, and then we hear this and it's completely taken a different tenor. I guess the big question now, has anyone in the organization spoken with Martin, or has anybody have any idea if and when he'll return?
Yeah, you know, after the game, I asked several players, and you know, the Dolphins were asked about that last night after the game, and it's so day-to-day at this point. When there's emotional issues, when there's stress issues, you know, it's not something that can just, you know, put a clock on it and say, okay, you know, this guy feels ready, you know, at this point. The Dolphins are taking it day-to-day. You know, several players I spoke to said that they would welcome him back, you know, with open arms. They understand that, you know, you know, his situation. So it's really going to be, you know, sort of I think next week, the fact that they have 11 days until their next game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that sort of lends a little bit of time, at least over this long weekend, to sort of reach out to him and figure out where he is at this point emotionally and mentally, and whether he does want to return to the team. So I would say that after this weekend, maybe the next few days, I would expect the Dolphins to really communicate with him and try to figure out a timeline and where he is emotionally from here.
Now an investigation by the NFLPA and its attorneys. James Walker, our ESPN Dolphins reporter, with the latest here on SportsCenter.